Awesome game, awesome finish, and a couple of great teams, a couple of great quarterbacks. Somebody had to lose. I feel badly for the Bills, but I was so excited for the Cardinals with the 32-30 victory, capped by the Hail Mary, Charean. That's the game that we rewatched this week, and let's begin. Some of these are going to be obvious, but still, we have to talk about this game. If we would have picked any other game, it would have been like, what the hell are they thinking? Of course, it's Bills at Cardinals. Best player on the field in your estimation?
Well, there are two choices, Mike. And I knew watching the game, of course I knew on the sheet, but I knew watching the game what your choice would be. But I will ask you this. Would there have been any other receiver on the Cardinals team that could have made that catch?
Oh, I don't know. Larry Fitzgerald, maybe 5 years ago. I don't know that he could make it now. But no, Hopkins is the only one who could have made the catch.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I picked DeAndre Hopkins for that reason. It was a great play by Kyler Murray. There's no question about that. But DeAndre Hopkins made that, and I'm not sure any other receiver in the NFL could have made that catch, frankly. He's the best receiver in football. He proved that again on Sunday by outdoing Diggs. And he's proving that that was the second worst trade in NFL history, and if not in NFL history, at least in the last 32 years. And sorry to bring it up again, Mike, but you know what the worst trade in NFL history was? Herschel Walker. But this might be the second worst trade in NFL history. A horrible trade. And I know the Texans fans at least, were sick watching that catch because it was amazing, and he made it with three guys around him. And again, I'm not sure anybody else in the NFL makes that catch. He made it. Let me just put my all-pro vote right now, and I'm checking off DeAndre Hopkins as one of my two receivers.
Now, I'll agree with you that no other receiver on the team could have made the catch if you'll agree with me that no other quarterback on the team could have made the throw. Because that's the other side of this. And here's the key. It's buying time, because my player of the game, obviously Kyler Murray, it's buying time before you make that throw. And what I was reminded of when I watched that play, you see him skirt away from the Bills defender who had a shot at him. And it reminded me of that little mini controversy from week 3 or 4 when Jerry Jones was talking about Dak Prescott having the mobility and athleticism to extend a play, but then the great ones can harness whatever they need to do after that, can get it together again after that. And I remember seeing the words written thinking he didn't throw shade at Dak, and then listening to him thinking, damn, he's saying Dak can't do what some of these other guys do. And regardless of what he was saying, Kyler Murray is one of the ones who can get twisted up by a guy who has a shot at him, run away from it, and immediately refocus his attention down the field and not have to need that 2 or 3 seconds to get reoriented to where he is in relation to where the receivers are. Murray just kept going. He made the throw. He told me after the game he was facing the sideline when he threw the ball. I mean, he cranked that thing up. He knew it had a chance. It helped that it was DeAndre Hopkins. So, and for me, look, it was what Kyler Murray did all game long, too. I love watching him run the ball. He's fearless. He's been taking more hits. They've had more designed runs. They've got that read option look where everything flows to the right, and he pulls the ball out and takes off to the left, and no one has a chance as everything's moving in that one direction. He's got 11 rushing touchdowns this year. He's 3 short of the record set by Cam Newton. I think he's going to set it. His odds keep improving to be the MVP. It's now plus 700. He's like 4th on the list behind Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers. He's just fun to watch every week. I wish every one of their games were played in prime time, and I'm happy that Thursday night we get to see him against Russell Wilson again.
People act surprised, Mike, that he hadn't thrown a Hail Mary ever in his career. But this is a guy that was 42-0 in high school. I mean, they didn't play that many close games. Let's be
no need to throw a Hail Mary.
And he played 1 year at Oklahoma. There was no need in most of those games to throw a Hail Mary. And it did remind me, this game did, of the Big 12 game, and especially the way it finished. And their offense is starting to remind me of a Big 12 offense because it's hurry up. And I think they're even better when they go quick. And they're starting to go quick a little bit more, and they're starting to get it. And Cliff Kingsbury talked a little bit about that. But, Mike, you remember that Sea of Hands game? I think it was the 74 playoffs with the Chargers and the Dolphins. That's what that picture of DeAndre Hopkins reminded reminds me of that sea of hands.
Who was better than you thought after taking a closer look at the game?
Well, I'm going to go with Patrick Peterson, and I think we've seen a regression of him over the last couple years. I mean, when we start talking about the best cornerbacks in football, his name's not in it doesn't come up real quick for me thinking of the best cornerbacks. I don't think he's there anymore. I know he was asked a couple days ago about possibly playing safety someday soon, and he kind of hem-hawed around, and maybe that's a possibility. But in this game, I thought he was really good. And I thought that interception was really key that he made in the third quarter there that set up Kyler Murray's 15-yard touchdown run that put them ahead for the first time. And I thought that was a big play that he made in that game. And I really thought he played pretty well overall in that game. And I know he had the coverage on Stephon Diggs at the end, but he actually had pretty good coverage on that play. It was just a great throw and catch by Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs.
One guy I was really impressed by, and we talked about this some on Football Night in America, but to actually watch the game and see him make the kicks, and one hit the goalpost and went in. This is Tyler Bass, the 6th-round rookie draft pick of the Bills, entrusted the kicking job to him, and he made 3 50-plus yarders, including a 58-yarder, and each one was longer than the rest, and each one was a career long. And you always want to get touchdowns instead of field goals, but if you're in the vicinity of the 40-yard line, between the 35 and 40, and the drive peters out, and you can get 3 points fairly automatically, that's impressive. And to actually see that happen and to see him nail those kicks as you watch that game back, I think Tyler Bass is one of those guys. If he can continue, he's going to be a fixture in the NFL for years to come. All right, give me someone who had a game they'd like to forget, Charean.
Well, I think the choices are obvious, and I went with Mario Addison, and he had a chance to make the play. When you watch it, DJ Humphries fell down, and so he had a free release, and Kyler Murray juked him. And, it's not the first time that a defensive lineman hasn't made the tackle on Kyler Murray. There's been a ton of those, but never in a bigger situation than that was, that a lineman had the angle, had the chance to tackle and make the play. He didn't. I know he's had nightmares over that. He ended the game with one tackle, and I know he wished he had had one more, which was a sack, which would have ended that game.
I'm going to go with two guys from the defense on that same play, Tre'Davious White and Jordan Poyer. And the more I watch that play back, look, White went up, and this was a point Peter King made yesterday. White was trying to catch the ball, not knock it down. And he didn't get a chance to really do either because Jordan Poyer came flying out of nowhere and slammed into his teammate and knocked him down, knocked Tre'Davious White out of the way. So, look, I understand that they called the defense they did, and Kyler Murray suggested that the first read was Andy Isabella doing a crosser, and they were trying to get closer for a shot at the end zone, and maybe the Bills could have had more guys back. They still had 3 guys around DeAndre Hopkins. But if you're Tre'Davious White, you don't try to catch the ball. And if you're Jordan Poyer, you don't come in out of nowhere and slam into your own guy and knock him away from having an opportunity to maybe catch the ball or still knock the ball away. So those guys have to be watching that play over and over again. And despite all the praise that we're giving to DeAndre Hopkins, those Bills players that were back there made it easier for him to catch the ball because White could have just tried to knock it down and Poyer should have avoided ramming into Tre'Davious White, Charean.
Yeah, no question about it, Mike. And they were all there, and it looked like they had good defense, and that's what I thought. He just knocked him right out of the way. Maybe if he wasn't there and it was 2-on-1, they would have had a better opportunity, as crazy it is as that is to say.
Yeah, I mean, as Peter said yesterday, this wasn't Shaquille O'Neal trying to get a ball over Muggsy Bogues. I think it was Good Morning Football they posted on Twitter the tail of the tape, and I expected it to be jarring, and it wasn't. It's not like there's this tremendous advantage that DeAndre Hopkins had, other than hand size. He had 3 guys around him, and a couple of them misplayed the situation, or maybe Hopkins wouldn't have made that catch. Not to take anything away from Hopkins, he made the catch, but it's not like the Bills made it harder on him to do so. All right, let's take a break. When we return, it's time to hand out the Week 10 awards. We probably should exempt all Cardinals from our awards, but hey, it would look weird if we didn't. So I have a feeling you'll hear some Cardinals names.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.